is John, aka Rachel St. John. All right, so tell us, what made you want to get on stage and perform?
Well, I was frequenting a bar in Detroit called Gigis, and Vanessa LaSalle, Michael Swayze, was the manager and the daytime bartender, and he and I had developed a relationship. I was always involved in theater in high school, and I loved theater. Um, and I knew I had experience on stage. I knew I had enthusiasm about it. And Vanessa said, "We are going to have a amateur drag contest." Well, I had seen drag queens before from Gigi's, and she said, "I got the perfect person for you. It's a character called Toadie Fields." And I knew who Toadie Fields was because she was a great comedian. And I had saw her actually live, one of her last performances in Las Vegas. And in those days we had an album, LPs, vinyls. Well, I went to Dearborn Music, which was the music store to go to in those days. They didn't have the album was out of print. So I went to Dearborn Music and I stole the album from not Dearborn Music, the Dearborn Public Library.
Uh-oh.
And I stole the album and I took it home and I did Toadie Fields. And for Miss Amateurs, we had to do 2 numbers in those days. So I did Toadie Fields and I did Judy Garland's medley of You Made Me Love You. And that's how it went from there. And my first entrance onto the stage at Miss Amateur Gigi's, I fell flat on my face. I got up, I got caught on my dress, went to step, and I fell flat. Boom. And I picked myself up, did my number, and if I had not fallen, I would have won Miss Gigi's. But I had fallen and I came in second runner-up. So the next year, I entered Miss Gigi's and I won that contest.
Oh.
And that's how I became Rachel St. John, the star.
What year was that, if you don't mind asking?
1981-82. Or no, I'm sorry, 81-82 was the amateur. 82-83 was the Miss Gigi's contest.
All right.
Yeah. So it's been several years. Mm-hmm.
A couple.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did you get the name Rachel St. John?
That's a real good question. How did I get the name Rachel St. John? Well, I loved St. John because I always wanted to change my name legally. I had a theory as a child, and this is kind of a thing. My mom has blonde hair and blue eyes, and she's Hungarian. My dad is Italian, and he was dark and had dark hair, brown eyes. And my parents divorced when I was very young, so when my mother used to come to parent-teacher conferences, here was this blonde-haired lady that was like, where'd you come from? I used to tell people I was adopted. I made up this huge story. So I thought, if ever I'm going to change my name, my last name is going to be St. John, because my first name is John, and I like John. But I thought, being a saint as I am, I'll be St. John. So, and Rachel came from a soap opera that I used to watch. Rachel Davis on Another World, who became Rachel Corey because she had so many husbands. And she was just a slut in her day. But nobody ever knew it. She was a good slut. She always was demure. So, Rachel St. John. Rachel I got from the soap opera, Another World. And there you go.
These stories never disappoint me. Who is your favorite celebrity of all time?
Well, celebrity and there are 2 actual people that I find very fascinating. My first celebrity, which is everybody knows, of course, is Elizabeth Taylor. Because of her being an actress and so memorable in so many films, she was great. Then she was a huge activist. And I think for the gay community, having AIDS, being supportive of AIDS and HIV, and just the compassion she shared for people in their struggles along the way. And then, of course, for the business person that she was, creating fragrances in her jewelry line. I think that a person like that is really memorable in life. And the second one which is not known, but I really have a passion for him, is Nikolai Tesla, which most people have really never heard of. But he was the father of electricity. Most people don't know that. There's AC and DC current. He was the inventor of AC current, which would have been what we were using today. However, because of the prejudice of him not being born in America, he was Serbian and American, and all of his patents were eventually stolen from Thomas Alva Edison, and Henry Ford was a huge supporter of him, which of course everybody knows Henry Ford was a bigot in his day. He hated anybody that was not American, that was not Anglo-Saxon. So he was very supportive of Hitler. I don't know if people knew that or not, but he was very supportive of all that. And Nikolai Tesla, having been born overseas and not American, didn't get him far away. Actually, he actually had the contract with Westinghouse to do all the electricity in Niagara Falls. That was his contract originally, and Edison and his cronies had enough money and he had enough backing to dwindle his savings and dwindle his money of his patents and everything, so that he lost all that contract. But you would know who Nikolai Tesla was, but everybody equates Thomas Alva Edison as the inventor. But actually, it's not true. Tesla was a huge person of electricity, hence the name Tesla car. That's where the Tesla car came from, actually, that name. Nikolai Tesla. Yep. Didn't know that, eh?
Interesting.
And so I think when you're talking about a humanitarian for giving people things, he wanted to give it freely. He didn't want to charge people. And that was the problem with Henry Ford and Alva Edison. Edison was not all there either, but he would go either way with a lot of people. So interesting, yeah. Just a little tidbit.
Wow. Not quite the answer I was expecting, but nevertheless interesting.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on a lighter note, does pineapple belong on pizza?
Does pineapple belong on pizza? Well, off the top of my head, it's not my favorite thing. Pepperoni is. However, if you like pineapple on pizza, Mary, just go for it. That's what I say. Just don't invite me over to have pineapple on pizza. But if that's what you like, go ahead.
Okay.
But make sure my side has pepperoni.
Fair enough, fair enough.
And extra cheese.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's a train going by. Hey. Tell me about your most memorable performance.
Well, there's actually one that really sticks out. I used to do a number called Money by the Flying Lizards. I want money, and I used to, until I really got me in trouble, but I used to work it in, I used to swallow money or eat it when people would give it to me.
What?
Oh yeah. Eat the money, and I was an entertainer for one of the contests one time, and I did money. And one of my props was beer on a table. And I used to shake it up and spray it in the audience. Well, it didn't go over real well one night for this contest because Mary Metro was in the audience, and there were some other girls who Michael told me later they had to pay for their dry cleaning bill. And their outfits may have been ruined, but they weren't. Because instead of me grabbing the thing, I had grabbed like 2 bottles and I shook them up and sprayed the audience with it. It was quite memorable.
I'm dying laughing. That is too funny. All right.
And I used to do them in red wet leather chaps.
Oh. Mm-hmm. So let me ask, this is another question, but you ate the money?
Well, I didn't eat it. I would take it and put it in my mouth. and just hold it until after the
okay.
number.
That would be interesting recovering the money.
Well, it was interesting. I did a show one time out in Ann Arbor. We were at the Rubaiyat, and I was a little full, tipsy, and I thought I could climb down out of the second story off of a rope, and everybody were like, "No, you can't go down there." I said, "Oh, leave me alone." Well, once I got on stage, I was doing my money number, and there were some college kids in the audience that tried to see how many singles I could eat and put in my mouth. And sister, I was full, and they were just going in my mouth. I don't even remember, but it was interesting. A lot of interesting things went on. Oh yeah.
Wow. So that leads me to the next question, which I don't know. Maybe your money eating could be this, but what's your hidden talent?
Hidden talent. My hidden talent. Oh,
She has to look at her notes.
I do, because you know what?
As if eating money wasn't a big enough hidden talent.
Oh, one of my hidden talents.
So one.
I think you have a lot of abilities that you accrue along the way of life. So talents can also be abilities. I think a talent is something that comes natural to people. So it's not something that you learn along the way. It's just something that's maybe inherent of your character, who you are. And I think for me, one of my biggest talents is that I can see sometimes outside the box of people, and kind of maybe some people that see it as the glass is half empty, I see it as half full. And that's maybe a fault of mine, but I always try to be optimistic when I look at situations rather than be pessimistic.
Okay.
You know, as far as abilities I've learned along the way, I'm a great cook, great chef. I went to cooking school for that. So I'm real good with knives. And if you really want to get risque, I have a great hidden talent in the bedroom. Yeah. In my younger days, I used to really have a in and out. Anyway.
Well, are you going to tell us? Or
No,
gonna leave
no,
us hanging?
leave you hanging.
Oh, such a tease. All right, let's move on to our final question. If you could right a wrong from the past, and I apologize, it sounds like a pageant question, but it is. If you could right a wrong from the past, what would it be?
This one I took a lot of time to think about because I've never really ever spoken about it. And I wasn't sure I was going to say anything. When I moved out to Arizona in 1975, and I came back in 1980, I met somebody during those 4 years out there. He was the love of my life. And I did him so wrong, so wrong. But you know, it was a time that I was not out to my family. I wasn't out to anybody. I was very young. I was only 21, 22, 23 at that time. And society didn't accept couples. He was younger than I was. So, but you know, when you're 21, 22, 23, how much younger do you have to be? 18, 19?
Right.
So, you know, in those days. And I didn't know how to handle the situation because he wanted to take it to the next level as a couple. And I cut it off completely by running back to Michigan. Hence, the reason why I really never, ever had another real lover in my life. Jerry was the love of my life. We used to, everything in life that I always wanted, he could give me. And I just, once you meet somebody that way, when you're young, especially when you're young, it keeps going through your mind and you keep relating people to that same person, you know. So you're kind of looking for it. He was Native American Indian, which was a huge fantasy always of mine growing up. I always loved that look of long hair, defined features, dark skin. So he had it going on. He had a lot of problems too, and but he was very openly gay, and I wasn't, with my family. I had bought my own home out there, and he moved in with me, but we kept it very hush hush, So, and then there were a lot of problems that came up along the way, which I didn't know how to handle. You just don't know how to deal with them. I was out there really alone. I had no base because I had left my base here in Michigan, and so I came running back, and I left him. I just abandoned him completely. And told him he had to leave.
Wow.
And if he didn't leave, I would, and I did. So, you can run away from your problems, but somehow you have to deal with them eventually. And I've dealt with them. I've tried to find him along the way, but it was impossible. I did know through a mutual friend that they thought he had passed away from AIDS, but I couldn't verify that, so. Life goes on. C'est la vie.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for your candid and humorous interview. Do you have any final words to tell the viewers of this video about anything at all?
Yes, one last thing. I have always generally tried to do and be honest with myself about doing what I wanted to do in life, because life is too short not to. I found that out along the way, and this is not a dress rehearsal. This is life, and you live it every day. So you might as well be authentic to yourself. I like authentic people along the way, and I try and have a group of friends that I think are honest and authentic with me. I don't have time for people that don't. So, at 65 years old, life goes on. I look at life as I only have another 10 to 20 years left if possible. And then what's going to happen? Your memory. When you die and people are looking at you in that coffin, you know what you are to them? A memory. That's it. So you might as well be the best memory people can be for you, that you can be for people. Because there's nothing else. Nothing else.
Ah, wow. Well, thank you for being in bed with Mocha.
Thank you, Mocha.
I hope it
Mocha
was good
Pronto.
for you.
Oh, baby, it was great. Hubba, hubba, hubba.
All right, until next time.
Arrivederci.
What'd you think? Did you like it? Or are you coming back for more? Leave the $20 on the dresser. Thank you.